So go ahead.
Okay, this is the capsule that was carried in the forward section of the Guinn spacecraft, and it also contained a high-resolution camera that took pictures of the Earth's surface, including all of the military facilities that we wanted to look at. The film passed from the camera through the from the storage device through the camera and into this bucket. And when the bucket was full of film on these reels, there was a guillotine that cut the film and stopped the cameras. This then was released for recovery. It contained a parachute that after it re-entered the atmosphere, the parachute would deploy and was recovered by aircraft overflying and letting out a loop of cable that could snag the parachute and reel it into the aft into the aircraft. There was anywhere from 3 to 7 aircraft involved in recovering this, and if they all failed to recover it by air, then when it hit the water, there was a sensor that released a flotation collar, and then the capsule could be picked up by hook from a helicopter, with a helicopter and taken to an aircraft carrier. In order to keep the publicity from this, it was always announced that the aircraft were flying out to rescue a downed aircraft or a ship that was needed to be recovered at sea. So, you know, it was just a super secret project. It flew on this is an Agena B spacecraft. We eventually went to an Agena D, which was slightly larger and could carry up to 3 of these capsules. And it was longer. The aft section was the launch and guidance rocket engines, and it burned a hypergolic fuel, hydrazine, with liquid oxygen that caused the hydrazine to explode on contact. So there was no electronic firing. It was just when you pump the fuel and the oxygen into the engine, it automatically fired. It also contained the little jets that kept the vehicle stable. The section you see with the fairings, the long fairings, was all of the fuel tanks that carried the hydrazine and oxygen. That's where the little window is where the stabilization sensors were. The fairing just above the glass opening, which was not glass on flight, but those fairings were ejected, and there was 2 of them. Each one of them was aimed at the Earth's curvature and were infrared, so they're super sensitive infrared cameras, essentially, and they could sense the heat of the Earth, so that if one of them started warming up a little bit, indicated that the spacecraft was starting to roll. So it would fire retro rockets in the aft end that would stabilize it and bring it back into control and keep the vehicle flying level with that with the cameras pointing in the right direction.
And when did you start on the Corona project?
I went to work there in 1958. I was not fully briefed on the Corona project itself until about 1960, when I was briefed to know what this vehicle was and what it was doing.
And how many Coronas did you think you produced?
We were at our peak. We were building up to 4 of these a month, or about 1 a week, and they were launched from Vandenberg Air Force Base. I went down for several launches. Or if there was a problem, out on the pad, then I would go down and help solve the problems they were having.
And when did the Corona project end?
The Corona project itself didn't end until about 1972. I left the project in 1965 and went on to the KH-9 project. They had a model of that. It was declassified just recently, and they had a model of it here, but it's not here now. It was a much larger vehicle than this. It carried up to 5 of these buckets, which were about, I'd say about 4 times the size of this bucket. It was the vehicle that was built specifically because of the 70 millimeter wide-angle film that they had developed, a very high-resolution film. The KH-9 carried two surveillance cameras that one faced forward and the other one faced aft, and rotated right to left and left to right, so that they would get a wide sweep of the terrain, and it could cover a much larger area of the Earth's surface. But it would still use the same recovery system that the Corona used with the aircraft.
Okay. Thank you.